The following contains full spoilers for Final Fantasy XIII-1. Please check the description for more information. Final Fantasy XIII-2. Fragments before. Chapter 3. Friend and Foe. Part 5. There really isn't a single soul around, huh? There are plenty of monsters, though, said Snow to the Cactuar as he scanned the steppes. In the distance was a ridge distinct from the rest of the mountain range. It was the shell of a long GUI. Just the kind of place someone might go to hide out, isn't it? Only, it seemed to be even harder to find food here than it was at the seaside village of New Bodom. The weather was unpredictable on the steppe, and it wasn't suitable for agriculture. It was then he muttered, "It's just not quite feasible to live here yet." Snap! Went the sound of something breaking in half, and then everything unexpectedly flipped upside down. Whoa! What gives? Even if he wanted to grasp what had happened, he couldn't because he was utterly trapped. It looked like he was caught in something like a net or a sack. He felt like he was surrounded. He heard voices that sounded like, "Wait a minute, that's not a monster, it's a person." Then he deduced that he had probably been caught in a trap meant for monsters. Judging from the direction the voices were coming from, it seemed like he was also hanging upside down. "Hey! Hurry up and do something!" he cried out in spite of himself, and just as quickly as he had been ensnared, his mobility came back to him by surprise. Where he felt pain in his left leg, he found the Cactuar attached. It seemed that because it had been right next to Snow, they were both caught in the net and all tangled together. "You got unlucky too, huh? But isn't it about time you got off of me? Your needles, they're stabbing me all over." Although he had gotten used to that much by now, it wasn't unusual for him to turn over in his sleep and find the Cactuar under his rear. "Hey, you keeping a monster around?" He was addressed in a distinctly wary voice. He looked around again and saw there were a number of men. Judging by the fact they were all armed, they were probably in the midst of hunting monsters. "This one's my friend. It's not a bad monster, so could you put those things away? I don't want to scare it." The men looked at each other. Having been hunting monsters on a daily basis, it was natural that they thought monsters meant danger. Snow hastily instructed the Cactuar. "Listen to me. These guys aren't our enemies. Don't attack them, okay? Don't get confused and shoot needles at them. They're not our enemies." When it met Snow, the Cactuar would detect hostility based not only on words, but also expressions and atmosphere. It might decide these guys who were overly cautious of monsters to be enemies just based on their demeanor. "Well, that's a shocker. It really understands what you're saying, huh?" "Because it's my friend." The expression of the man who appeared to be their leader softened and he lowered his gun. "So it's covered in monster traps." "Same here. I didn't think there would be traps set up here, so I wasn't checking where I was stepping at all." As he joked and stood up, an intense pain shot up through his left leg. Whether he had been stabbed in an inconvenient place or the wound was deeper than he thought, the pain was worse than the amount of blood indicated. "Hey, are you alright? Can you walk?" The man held a hand out to Snow, who inadvertently dropped down to his knees. "Nah, it'll get better in a minute. I'm built stronger than the average person." "I don't think we used anything that would pierce." "Oh, it's not because of the trap. They're Cactuar needles. They even go right through thick leather, this one's needles. Regardless, you wouldn't have gotten hurt if you didn't get caught in the trap, right? So, sorry." The man apologized and gave him his shoulder. "We'll take you to our camp. You should rest." "Thanks. Sorry about that." He couldn't go any further today on these feet. Since he would likely even have trouble finding a place to sleep for the night, it was a much appreciated offer. "The name's Ronnie. How about you?" "It's Snow. I'm from New Bodom." Ronnie's voice became tense again. When I say Bodom, I don't mean the one on Cocoon. I mean New Bodom. It's a newly developed village on Grand Pulse." It was as he tried to explain that one of the men yelled in surprise. "You're Snow Villiers!" "How did you know? Have we met somewhere?" He saw that there was an air of tension amongst the men. What was happening? "Drop it, Helmand." Ronnie snapped at him. The man named Helmand took his hand off his gun. He couldn't figure out what was going on, but he knew that for some reason he was about to be shot. "We don't point our guns at people anymore. We swore that, didn't we?" Ronnie said admonishingly, "anymore," meant that wasn't the case before. The reaction to a place called Bodom, and the fact that they knew the name Snow, and above that, what had Rigday asked just the other day? You guys were SciComm, weren't you? All of a sudden, the atmosphere felt as cold as ice. Snow hastily raised his hands. He had realized why Helmand placed his hand on his gun earlier. I'm not a lessee anymore. Don't start pulling triggers. Look, he rotated his arms for them. There used to be a lessee brand there. If they were SciComm, then surely they would have known where Fugitive Snowvilliers' brand was. I don't have any weapons either. Totally unarmed. See? After he took off his coat and turned it inside out for them, Ronnie let out a breath. It wasn't just Ronnie. The expressions of Helmand and the others turned to smiles too. Just like you're not a lessee anymore, we're no longer SciComm either. I said it, right? We'll never point our guns at another person again. That goes for lessee too. But just now. He took a glance at Helmand. He scratched his head with a, sorry. You've got the wrong idea. I thought you came here for revenge by mistake. I assumed you wanted us to get the hell out of here. I jumped to conclusions. He had just been told that SciComm soldiers escaped to remote areas in fear of retaliation from the residents. After all, there are people here who pointed their guns in Palampolum too. If not, there were guys like me who pointed guns at your friends. Either way, we know we've made enemies of you. Well, had. That's already in the past. Oh, you don't seem like the type to retaliate just because you've been messed around with. That's what I told you, said another man with a smile. Just the type of guy to jump out alone and unarmed before a row of guns. A real idiot. Hey, isn't idiot a little too... So true, nodded Ronnie. Snow thought he had to have been affirming his angry outburst of, isn't an idiot a little too harsh? But he was wrong. Idiots are idiots, but you're the honest kind, right? We can see all the way through you if you open your mouth. Oh, that's where you were getting that. It made his shoulders drop.